All right. We got this handled. All right. Anyways, but that's what I would do. There's so much private bucks out there, man. You've done it. You've already done a couple of them. That's what I would do. Absolutely. You know. So stay away from the banks.
Okay.
You know, they're not your friend right now. The
Right.
two
True.
underwriters that I know, they work for banks, they do mortgage approvals and all that. The biggest problem they got right now is not people's credit and all that, is how the hell are they going to figure out what number to put inside their calculations to
Right.
figure out for the spread of where we're going with inflation.
Yeah.
That's scaring the living hell out of these banks because they're
True.
writing some big checks for some of these houses, and they know
Yeah.
they're going way over.
Yep.
This is you could be buying a house for 500,000 that 2 years ago only sold for two. The whole market's stupid. It really
Yeah.
is stupid. So I'm looking at these. I'm looking at what stuff is getting sold for. I had a long conversation with my wife this weekend. I said, "Why? I sold my house on Long Island, so it was pretty big bucks. So I'm happy about that. And the money's just sitting in the bank now for this April will be a year, and I'm renting a cheap house out in Eastern Long Island, and then I'm down here in Florida. So we go back and forth. And she says, "Well, I go, what do you want to buy another house for? For what? Have all those taxes, have all that insurance and all that." I go, there's a lot to do with being a landlord. Hello, your roof is leaking. Hello, the
Yeah.
stove broke. Hey, bud, the air conditioner quit. And multiply that in multiples of what I do with all the rentals I've got. So I've got some projects in the works right now with people that I finally got out of some of these houses that I've been trying to get out of for a while. I got two of them that moved out. Thank God. I start a renovation on one tomorrow morning, and the other one I got one in Florida. And I got one up in Alabama. The one up in
Okay.
Alabama should start tomorrow also.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I can't believe what these rents are. I haven't seen this kind of cash flow ever.
Right.
On the,
Yeah.
on,
I had
on
a
these.
customer this evening, and he said that he lives in an apartment in like a studio, and his rent was 900, but because he has a lease right now, but the rent went to $1,100. Same studio. It went
Well,
up $200. Yeah.
I've got people down here in Florida that I was renting for $1,250 a
Yeah.
month, and that's cheap, man. 3-bedroom house, $1,250. At least I think so. Right? I jumped them to $1,500-$1,600. I go, look, I go on Rent-A-Meter, and I use Rent-A-Meter a lot.
Right.
Rent-A-Meter, I put in there, the exact spot. I try to knock it down as close as I can, as far as going out in term and looking as far as history, how far we can go. So I
Right.
want to keep it short. If I can find 5 houses that are rented in a half-a-mile area in the last 3 months, bang,
Yeah.
I got it.
Right. Right.
So some of these homes that are a little more spread out, yeah, you got to go out longer and play around with it more. But I've got these, and I'm saying, look, and I send them a copy of it. I go, look, this is a $2,000 house. All I want is $1,595. You've been
Yeah.
stealing this thing. Now, here's something
Right.
else to keep in mind. If you're going to rent, if you're going to hold the mortgages on these houses versus renting them, all right.
Yeah.
I got I'm in negotiations, if you even want to call it that, with my insurance company, and they're telling me that I am seriously underinsured.
Right.
Really? Well, I wasn't seriously underinsured last year when you wrote the policy, right?
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
well, Mr. Driscoll, let's just take one piece of property. This one you have insured for $160,000, and a year ago it was worth 200 grand. I go, well, dirt doesn't burn. So I says, that's why I just want 160 for the house, and I think I can fix it for a lot less than that. Okay, we understand that, but now according to our numbers, that same house is worth 300,000.
Yeah.
So if you keep the 140,000 or $160,000, 160 insurance on it, you're under insured by over $100,000. That's going to affect the ratio that we pay out to you if something happens.
Yeah.
explain to me. Explain. What are you talking about? He says, well, the square footage is the same. I go, yeah. But the cost per square foot went up. I go, okay. On a sale, not on replacement value, not that much. He goes, okay. So let's take it. It's 2,000 square feet, right? And before all happened, okay, you had it set up so your property, your building was 160, $170,000. I'm trying to remember. I go, so what? So where we going at? He goes, well, we're at 300 now. And if we take the same $40,000 off, he says, you're at 260. So 260,000 times minus 170. He says, you're $90,000 underinsured. If the property's worth 300 grand and you're 90% uninsured, $90,000 uninsured minus the dirt, he says, that's the ratio we're gonna discount any claim by. I got to talk to some more insurance agents, but what he's saying makes sense to me. But then he says to me, you got a surprise coming next year. He says, here in Florida. I says, yeah, go ahead, give me some more good news. He goes, well, he says, how all these properties went up in value? I says, yeah. He says, well, most of Florida is, I think he said a year behind or whatever. I go, yeah. So he says, where do you see where your tax bill is for next year? All these properties went up in value? Whoa. He says, you're talking about a lot of money. Oh boy. Oh boy. So I'm like, more good news. These are reasons you want to do long-term financing. You escrow those monies from your buyer and you're out of it.
Yeah.
If they ever buy you out, do a 1031. Hopefully it works at that time. Go buy something else with the money.
But the way the current price is, that's why you think go for long term, so you lock in those prices because the price is going to go down.
If you're going to sell the property, no matter what, you want to keep your cash flow coming in for as long as you can. So you're always going to be looking at long-term transactions.
Okay.
If you do business and if it's just dirt or something like that, or it's a home you would normally wholesale and needs a lot of work, that's a short-term transaction. Like we talk on here about financing a wholesale house to a builder or to a contractor. You do those and you can make a lot more money than just flipping a house, normally. And you can you close on it and you bring in your investor, your private money, wrap the deal up and do the same deal with your buyer, your wholesale buyer, finance it to him. But you're going to make it a short term, make sure he performs. Get some money down from the guy. You don't perform, you take the house back and do it again. And now this is business to business. It's not a consumer transaction. So you're not worrying about Dodd-Frank and this. I don't think you're worried about the SAFE Act either. All that stuff is out the window.
Right.
I'd have to check and see if you need to jump through all those hoops with Dodd-Frank and the SAFE Act, if you're going to sell a property but sell a property on a land contract. I don't know if you do or not, but that's something else to be thought of.
But still, you have to go through the RMLO and go through all the steps. Right?
I don't know. I haven't done it. I'll be honest with you. But the people I'm selling these houses to aren't going to do anything like that. They are so happy to get the properties they could care less. They're just in it. And they've got enough skin in the game where they're not going to walk away anyway. So that's been my experience. Now I've used RMLOs on deals that I have seller financed. I don't do seller financing on retail homes. I haven't done any yet down in Florida. Most of the ones I've done are in Georgia, in Alabama, that kind of thing. So it's great business, man. There's nothing like mailbox money. Ask Vaughn. He'll tell you, man. Nothing like mailbox money. So what else, guys? Yeah, what else, man? So you think about that. Come back and let us know what you're going to do. We're going to be like I said to you at the beginning of this, I was actually on this thing at 10 minutes to 9, and I'm sitting there waiting for this guy, and I fell asleep. I've been so pooped out the last couple of days. So, and then I wake up and it's 9 minutes after. I'm like, oh shit. So, anyways, that's the deal. It's all good. So we'll start a couple hours earlier, and we'll start getting. He's got to promote this, and maybe we'll just do open mic Monday nights, and we can get on here and talk about anything. And I'll get him on here. He can answer everybody's question about lease options, and we can talk about anything that anybody wants. We'll see. Anyways, anything else, Rick? You turned off your mic.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay. All right. I'm working on another deal right now. It's a sub 2. I'm
All
taking
right.
over the payments. The
All right.
mom has passed away, so daughter already moved out. We called the bank to. She didn't make the payments in 5 years. The loan is under mom's name, who has passed away.
5 years.
5 months. 5 months. So the last statement when I've been talking to her, she moved out to the apartment, and I was planning to take over, but a few weeks later, uh, the neighbor they were cooking something and it got on fire, so they have to move back to the house. Now she moved back again, and so we're planning to close, but uh but last time when I saw the bank statement, it showed the amount and then how the payment and everything. This month when the payment came, it says your balance is 64K, but payment is 0. So do you think it went on foreclosure or what?
Chances are.
Right, because it's been 5 months and
Yeah,
it
it
says
could have
payment
been.
is 0.
Are you having an attorney close this for you?
Yes.
Good. Well, get your
Right.
attorney involved in that and let him stick his hands in the water. Does he
Okay.
does he know what he's doing with foreclosures?
But it was not a foreclosure. It might be now.
Look on PropStream, see if it's listed on there. And you can check
It's
the legal on it
right.
and see if it's listed on there. At least they used to list it on there. Every time I go on PropStream, it seems it's missing more and more stuff. I'm a little
Right. Yeah. And
disenchanted.
it's not. And then I do track every week on my county foreclosure, and
Good.
it's not in there yet. But I track
Yeah.
it through because I want to market them later on. But I have not started marketing on that side of it.
How much is the balance on the mortgage?
So right now it went up. When I was talking, it was 61. Now it's 64.
Okay, what's the house worth?
Uh, on the prop stream and everywhere else, it's showing 98. But to me, it's 110 to 120 because one house is right next is sold for 130.
Well, so you're
So
getting the house like 50 cents on the dollar. That's pretty
yes,
cool.
right.
All
It
right.
needs work.
So
It does need work, and
how
I
much?
have to pay. My guess is around 15 to 20K max. But yeah,
Yeah, okay. Well, worst comes
and
is it rentable the way that it is?
uh, one bathroom needs work, but the other one is so technically the 3 bedroom, 1 bath can work. The other one needs to work, and then there's
You
some
know,
ceiling issue.
the market is so hot right now.
Yeah,
You might be able to take that house, do a quickie on the bathroom to make sure everything, go through the house and make sure it's safe,
right.
and do what you absolutely positively got to do.
Okay,
And you put this thing on the market for 2 weeks and you say seller will finance, to a deserving family,
okay,
large down payment required or something like that. So,
okay.
the people are significant down payment required.
Right.
So that I got from Eddie Speed, right? But you on Eddie's course, right? You've done Eddie's course, right?
Okay.
Rick, you've been with Eddie Speed, right?
Eddie Speed? No.
Oh, I'm surprised. All right.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is instead of putting a lot of money into this house,
Uh
maybe
huh.
you just sell or finance it right out of the box. Now, this house hasn't been on the market.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's another,
No.
unless you want to keep it,
Right.
and make it a rental, you could turn around instead of doing that, sell or finance it, get a nice cash flow coming in the doorway, right?
Yeah.
If you have to bring in private money to take out your first, do that. but make sure you sell this house on a contract, on a land contract. Don't do a mortgage and,
Okay.
and note, whatever. Don't do that. Because you can't play around with
Okay.
that underlying financing if you do. And have your
Right.
attorney close it. Let him know what's
Yeah.
going on. He
Okay.
closes this thing. You could have your contract all set up with somebody, and you can still go out and refinance it. You just can't finance it for more. You can't hold more debt on it than what's owed.
Right.
So you
Right.
bring in a private lender at 60 grand, and your deal is, you know what, in 10 years, I want out of this thing. I don't want to be around. I'm looking at my age or whatever you're going to do. And that might be your exit. I'm looking at stuff now. I'm 65. I'm saying, how much longer do I want to hold on to this shit?
Yeah.
But I got my daughter, and I
Okay.
says, this is how much equity we got. This is where we're at. Oh, Dad, let it ride. She said to me,
Yeah.
it's like she's at the casino. Let her ride,
Yeah.
Dad. Don't sell anything. Yeah, okay.
Right.
All right, so, but yeah, man. I mean, you got some good stuff going on. That's great.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. How'd you find this one with this the subject too?
This one, actually, a friend of mine told me to give him $1,000 and pay the seller $3,000. So $4,000. I'll be in it there. So it was a
So
more
this,
of a referral. A referral.
he does real estate also.
No.
So just for the referral, you threw him 1,000, and you threw
Yeah.
$3,000 to the people that own the property to get in
Yes.
the doorway.
Yes,
And
sir.
you're taking over a $61,000 mortgage.
Right now, yeah, 64 technically.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
You might not put the 20 some odd thousand into it. You might just sell it on seller financing.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
somebody
that's what I was thinking.
somebody wants to do a fixer upper.
Work for equity
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, yeah, you can call it that. You can call it that.
Okay.
But now you know what? If you wind up discounting the house, and this house is worth 150, I think you said something like that.
No, 110 to 120 because the
But
neighbor house sold for
I just
130.
sell it for the whole 120.
Okay.
Or here's another thing you can do. You could sell it for less.
Yeah.
Because I've done this. Now listen to this closely. All right.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
anybody else that does this. All right. I'll say I'll sell in the house for 85,000. All right.
Mhm.
But he's going to put a performance mortgage on this for say $25,000. That he's going to do this and this and this and this and this and this, all inspected, all finished within this period of time. If
Mhm.
not, okay, then this mortgage kicks in and he's got to start making payments on this.
Okay.
So now you got two notes on the property.
Got it.
So secure, if you're going to give the house away and sell it for under what you think the regular market value is, you could still sell it for the same market value in the end if he doesn't do the repairs.
Yeah.
Because you would have got that for the house. I know a lot of
Right.
people go, what? What'd you say? What?
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done that before.
Okay.
And I know
Okay.
Vaughn just peeked up. Look at him. He's like, what was that?
Yeah.
Did I miss
Yeah.
that? If you're going to discount the house because the house needs work,
Right.
all right, secure the work that's needed financially with a performance note or performance mortgage.
Right.
This way, if the guy doesn't do it on this period of time, okay, technically you can foreclose on the note. Or you just say, if it's not done by this time, you say right in the agreement that now you're just going to make equal mortgage payments to me of this amount of money. That's it.
Yeah.
It just converts over to a note. You can do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And if he does all the work that he says he's going to do, then he got a great deal, and you're going to give him the house for the 85,000, whatever.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
If he
Makes
performs,
sense.
he performs. If he doesn't perform, he doesn't perform. You know.
Right. Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else to
Thank you,
share?
sir.
Anything else
I think
tonight?
that's it for me. Thank you.
That's it for
I'm gonna mute
you.
myself. I'm
He's
gonna mute
bowing.
myself.
He's bowing out. It's me and Vaughn up against the
No,
wall.
I'm
Boy.
here, but I'm gonna just mute. I'm here,
All
but
right,
I'm gonna mute.
we're gonna end the call in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna talk to Vaughn for a few minutes, and then we're gonna bail. So that's it. That's it. How you doing, man? We haven't seen you in a few weeks. You getting these incantations all set up there with Tony Robbins? Is that it? And you
that's basically it. Yeah.
he put a big dent in my checking account. That guy. walking through the coals and all that. I did that twice.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
My wife did it, and my
okay.
daughter did it, and she got caught, a couple of them caught between the toes, but
Oh
she was
man.
all right. She didn't feel it. She's diabetic, so she didn't
Oh,
feel the
okay.
bottoms of her feet. You know,
Yeah.
that's life. She's okay. She loves Tony Robbins. I took her with me out to Vegas to the business mastery that he did, and it changed her whole mindset when it came to business. It was really fabulous, really, really, really good. She's like a sponge. She can remember all this stuff, you know.
Man, that's
So
very cool. There's something to be said for mindset, and that's really been like my whole like transformation since like basically the start of this year, and like strengthening my connection to God, and like just reapproaching this business from like more of like a like how do I feel the feeling of being the real estate investor. And there was just a lot of areas in my life, like even as simple as my diet, that just weren't in place, and everything structured better, and I'm kicking butt, man. I'm ready to get started. It's kind of like my first week. I started making some calls on Saturday, but and then there were like hindrances along the way, like with the text blast situation and the automated REI was scraping kind of weirdly, and just shifting platforms and stuff was you know annoying. You know what I mean? And it really takes the wind out of your sails. But anyways, yeah, I'm stoked to
you
press
know, I
on.
never I never hit the ball over the fence using text messages. Never. All right. I do better off, with the ringless voicemail, so to speak. But when I leave a message, you would think it's me leaving a message on your voicemail, and it's not something that's just a can. Because you know what, I'll ring your phone, and all of a sudden it'll start talking. You pick up your voice message kicks on, and then right when it's my turn to start talking, I go, another voice message. Okay, and I kick in, and the people laugh because they think I'm actually calling them directly. Like, I says, oh, it's another voice message. Hey, I change my voice and I turn the sound up on it. But I've done a lot of those, and I never had an issue or a problem with it. Have people tell you, listen, that's enough, Steve. Sorry, thanks for calling me, but I'm not interested. All right, that's cool. Whatever. But that's something, and nothing beats picking up the phone and calling. But what I'm doing more or less right now, while I'm still here down in Florida, I got about 2 weeks to go, is just getting on and just picking up my feet or getting in the car and just knock out one neighborhood. And I'm working in the neighborhood right now. I'm going down to check out a house. Well, let me rearrange that. 4 doors away from one of the houses that I own down south in South Florida. Houses all of a sudden, it was one of the nicer houses on the block. Now all of a sudden this thing's run down. There's a broken down truck in the driveway. There's a lawnmower that's been sitting there for months. One of these driving lawnmowers. I asked the neighbor next door to me, what's going on with the house? Oh, the guy that owned it shot himself in the head. I go, really? Did that back in September, October last year. Because I think the bank's looking for it or whatever. Yeah, sure. They gave it to a kid. He was the only heir, and he's back and forth in and out of jail. So, and he had his friends and all his buddies living in the house, and they busted the house up. This house is probably worth about $350 if it was fixed up and nice. I'm figuring. I mean, he owes. I just found out tonight. What they said was he owes 170, of which $40,000 is in arrears. So I might be able to make this work. And it's in a nice neighborhood. It's in a nice neighborhood, and the house is bigger than the one I've got. And it's got more property. It goes way back. So I'll be interested in this one. So I got to go hunt this guy down. I don't know if he's still in jail. So I know he went away in November last year. So it's the way it goes. Yeah, you track the guy with this with software that we've got. and it does everything. You want to find somebody, this stuff finds anybody.
Yeah, what do you use?
TLO. TransUnion. TransUnion. But all it does is go online. It scrapes all the public information. That's what it does. Scrapes all public information. So they give it to finance companies, they give it to real estate companies, loan companies, law firms, police departments. You know, I got it because I'm still a finance company. So, and I just log on to it. But I found the guy, and I knew where he was in about 6-7 minutes. Just reading through 35 pages of the report. You know, it's like being, a seek and view detective. So
yeah, you're a spy.
Yeah, it's good. Gives you something. That's fun. I used to buy judgments, from the court judgments that sat around for a while. And people would call me. I used to advertise. I buy judgments. And so, listen, I don't give you nothing for it till I do my own due diligence. And then I get a copy of it and go do my homework, go find the guy. And then I call the guy back and says, I don't think this is for me. I'm not really interested. You want too much money for it. Take care. Well, wait a minute. So I'll tell you what I'll do with you. Now watch this word. Give me an option on it. I'll tell you what. I'll give you $500 for a $5,000 option on this judgment for 3 years. To give him $500 on a $3,000 option or $5,000 option, whatever, for 3 years. So I got to collect it. And if I collect it, I give him another $3,000. And if I don't collect it, I lost $500. That's one way to buy judgments. There's so many ways to slice the cake in this thing. So many different ways. I was watching a fellow a couple of weeks back do options on properties. You weren't around for that conversation. Do option on properties. Let's say a guy needs a roof on a house. You knock on his door. He goes, well, I don't want to sell my house right now. Oh, okay. All right. Well, look up at a roof. Can I help you out with that roof? What are you, a roofer? No. Maybe I'll write a check for you. I'll write a check to you to fix the roof. And maybe, give me an option to buy your house in 5 years. Well, his son gets out of college. His daughter gets out of high school. He figures it all out. He goes, you know what? I'll sell you this house in 5 years. How much you want to give me for it? I said, well, what's it worth right now? Oh, it's worth $200,000. Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm going to gamble, how about we just make it $200,000 and I got a right to buy it in 5 years or anytime over 5 years or between year 5 and 7, whatever. Okay. So you just wrote him a check for the roof. You make the check out to him and you make the check out to the roofer. So now that's a long-term investment. That's an investment where you're going to be sitting for a few years waiting to cash in on your equity. Or you take that account, you take that option, and you flip it and you sell it to another investor. You can move anything. Everything is paper. Everything you can turn anything paper into cash. Interesting, right, Vaughn? I just filled your head with some more crazy thoughts. There you go. Hold it. Okay.
So Steve, we can sell our option.
Sure.
And depending on what we can get out of it, what's the value of the house, right?
Well, it depends on what the whole deal is. It's more than the value of the house; it's the whole deal. If the whole deal is really, really something that's incredible, and you put the option together, right? Sure, you can sell it. It's an investment opportunity.
Okay. Because I might be working on one. I'm not sure yet. Let's see.
Good. Keep it going, man. So we got a spy on here tonight. Just happened to stop in. What's going on, Ace? How are you, man?
How you guys been?
Doing all right. We're not exactly killing it here tonight, but we're having some fun. What's going on with you? How's things in San Antonio?
Good overall. Again, the valley's still good. Good marketplace. But yeah, I'm getting back into it. I had a rough February 2022, but here we are back in it.
Good.
Overall good. Overall good. Business is
Very
good.
good.
Market's hot in my area. No major issues.
Somebody's got to unmute or something.
Thank you, Rick.
There you go. Thanks, bud.
So how you guys been? I know you guys been active, which is good. What you doing, Vaughn? How you been, Rick? How's your areas?
He's doing deals.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good, man.
I've been blessed recently. Yeah, I've been blessed. Working on a couple of deals.
Congrats. And you, Vaughn, how you been, man? How's your neck of the woods?
Dude, I've been very good. But just like the start of the year, I've been kind of like restructuring my mindset, and I just reapproached it this last week or two. So yeah, I haven't been doing work on the business, just been working on myself. But I feel like that's ultimately for the business.
There you go.
If that
That's
makes
good, man.
sense.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I know Steve. I know Steve's always been good. I caught a little bit of how you were breaking down different strategies to this guy. So yeah, that was a brain full of info.
It's all fun. It's all fun. You got to tell me all that stuff that's behind you on those bookshelves.
Uh-huh.
Is that all real estate stuff?
Yeah. Well, actually, from everything. Ty Lopez. I don't know if you know him. He got me into reading and everything. So those are some of those are the 100 books that he suggested, and plus an extra 500 that I kind of started buying to build up my library.
Wow.
And I kind of did this is one of the winning images. Again, same thing, kind of like Vaughn, self-improvement, real estate, taxes. You gotta learn taxes. Yeah, I try to read at least 20 pages in every book that I buy, just 20 pages. And then if I learn what I want to learn, I put it back in the shelf. And then I try to cycle them as I go, another 20 pages. That's one of the things that he taught about as far as smart reading. Don't try to read the whole book at once. Just go to the glossary or to the what's called the table of contents, whatever subject pops up in your head and from you. And when you see it, go into that page, read the first 3 or 4 sentences of every paragraph, get one thing you write, circle it, and put it back in the shelf.
A couple of years back, I wrote a chapter in a book.
Oh, really?
One of the best things I ever did. Yeah, because I raised a lot of private money with this book. Instead of handing somebody a business card, you hand them a card and your book.
Yeah, that's smart.
And so now I got another one I'm obligated to do, and I got to write another chapter with these guys, and it's due in like 3 or 4 days. I haven't even decided what I'm going to write this thing about, but who knows?
You cut it in close to the line.
I think I'm going to write about Justin Chamness. My life's experience with Justin.
You're going to need more than a chapter for that guy.
Boy, oh boy, you ain't kidding there. You're not kidding there.
But
we were talking about options over the last couple of weeks, right?
That's good.
And I was down in Tampa. I'm sorry, I went to a meeting over the line, over the internet here in Tampa. And one of the speakers that was there on and off was, what's his name? Fortunato. And everything Mr. Fortunato does basically is he's the king of the options.
Okay.
And and I remember going to one of his seminars a few years back, and he says, he says, if you want to go buy properties, he says he takes his granddaughter, puts her in there. This was years ago. Takes his grandchild and puts him in the baby carriage, and he goes out to a neighborhood. He loads her into the baby carriage, and they go walk. It drives out to a neighborhood, and they get out and they start walking around. And he talks to everybody. And before the afternoon's over or whatever it is, he's got a half a dozen leads to talk to. And, and he goes, and people all, it is, he goes, it even wasn't the baby. The baby was the motivation to get up off his ass and go. He says, but he said that just walking through the neighborhood, saying hi to everybody. He goes, and after you do it for a few times, everybody knows who you are. Because everybody's a nosy body. They want to know who this guy is walking through the neighborhood. And then, hey, listen, I'm looking for I like to buy a house for my granddaughter, my grandson. They're looking at my daughter, my kid, whatever, lives a few blocks away from here, but he's living it's upstairs of an apartment. I want to try and buy him a house. You know anything around here that might be for sale? And I said, you know what? Just for the hell of it, I said, this guy can't be full of shit. He's worth tens of millions of dollars. You know what? I'm going to do this. So I did this for a couple of days last week. Just I had nothing else to do. So, and it works. It works.
It's like puppies being arm candy for
So
men.
did you hear me talking about fixing the roof and all that stuff?
No, I just
All
caught
right,
the
so
last
listen,
15 minutes.
so listen to this. Now, you know, you go out on calls, on leads,
Yes.
and you got people that are just not motivated to sell their house now. They probably need another year or something like that before some kind of life event happens, and then they got to leave, right? So, but you walk past this house, and there's a big giant tarpaulin over the roof. So the roof is leaking, right? That's a simple one, right? So you go up and knock on the door and say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm just passing by, and I saw this tarpaulin on your roof." I says, "Can I help you with that?" And most people will say to you, "What do you mean help me with that? Are you a roofer?" No, I'm not a roofer. I'm an investor, but I like buying houses, but I wouldn't want to insult you right now with the price to buy your house. I mean, maybe I can do something with you and, do a business transaction where it helps us both out. You haven't told him it's an option. You haven't told him you're going to do anything with him, right? So, and next thing you know, he finds out the roof for the house is $7,000.
Man.
So he says, let's invest $7,000, he says to himself, in this house. And in 5 years, he gets to buy the house for, in general, what the house is worth today. So he's banking on the home going up in equity, the home going up in price, or whatever kind of way he did it. He said he was doing these in 2005. He says that by 2007 and 8, he got killed. He says then he changed his plan
strategy
a little bit. He kind of tweaked it. He says tweaked it. I kicked it in the ass. So he says and I kind of I changed it around a little bit. So now you go to this guy and say, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with it. Your house needs a roof. And after just talking with you, it makes it sound like you'd even think about selling this house in 5 years when your daughter's out of high school and your kid's out of college, your other kid's out of college. You're telling me, is that about right? Yep, my wife and I are talking about getting a smaller house. Okay, how about we do this? How about, because I know you got this roof is leaking and it's damaging your house, right? Oh, the house stinks inside and all. But he's trying to maintain the house. It's not a bombed out. You don't want to put your money in a junker, right? So you turn around. So here's what I can do with you. How about, don't use the word loan because it's not a loan. So if we could put an agreement together where I could buy your house for a set amount of money in 5 years, I would be willing to give you the money to fix that roof. What do you think?
Yeah.
Wow. How's that going to work? He says, well, I'll tell you, it's called an option. I'll give you $7,000 to fix your roof. And in turn, you're going to give me an option to buy this property if I choose or I don't choose. If I choose, it's at the price. This is what we both agree with. So it's $200,000. Let's just say in 5 years, between years 5 and 10 or 5 and 7, whatever, I have to, I've got to perform and I can buy it. I can buy the property for the $200,000. Or better yet, you put this house up for sale. I'm not stopping you from selling it. You put the house up for sale a year from now. Anything over this $200,000, we split. Or you make the number down. Maybe say anything over $190,000, we split. Because you don't want to hold a guy if he's got to sell a house. Then he's got to fight with you, and you wind up in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're taking $7,000 and you're hedging your bets. You're going to say, well, I'm going to bet on equity on this house. I'm going to bet on this neighborhood that this thing's going to be worth something in 5 years. Or you take that option, like I was telling Rick before, you can take that option and sell that option to another investor.
Yep, somebody else. Do you record those options by any chance? Would you record?
Bet your ass.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You record the memorandum.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. You know, like you otherwise you're leaving your hiney way up in the
I
air.
had an issue with the memorandum where the property has a description. Let's say block 25, Mercury
Yeah.
lot, whatever. Well, I recorded it under that block 25, Mercury subdivision, and this city, right? But when title ran the title, the person that went around me and bought it, that memorandum didn't pop up.
It wasn't recorded correctly then.
Yeah, because the legal description on the two, there was like 3 or 4 different documents recorded for that property, and some had this legal description. It was the same thing. It just said, like, instead of saying subdivision, it'll say sub.
Yeah.
Instead of saying block BLOCK, it said BLK.
Yeah.
So my question to you, you're probably more experienced with this. When I go record the memorandum, I don't want to record, let's say for this case, I don't want to record 3 different memorandums with 3 different legal descriptions. How do I tell the county recorders to make sure that it's recorded on block BLK, block BLOCK, and on subdivision and on sub? So that next time, because again, I lost on this deal like 15K.
There's 3 different lots.
Well, no, it's the same lot, but it's on one of the documents. It says lot 25.
What document?
What was that?
What document?
The memorandum. Oh, one
No.
of them was a deed. The other one was like a release of lien, and a couple of lien notifications.
What I have never done, and I'd run this past an attorney, but you could also say also known as, and list all 3 of them then.
Okay.
That's one way, if they would accept that. Also known as, you know.
Fair. That's true. But yeah, because this guy, again, he bought it under me. I'm hoping that once he sells it and then the bank does an external title company to close on that title to finance a loan, they'll find my memorandum there.
How long ago was this thing done?
Probably in November, December.
It's done already.
How long does those memorandums last?
They can last for infinity. If you didn't release it and you didn't have an expiration on it. Did you
No
have
expiration.
No expiration.
Mm-hmm.
So it was on for an indefinite amount. It's all up to, you know what? Why don't you talk to a lawyer and put a claim into the title company?
Okay, the title company that overlooked my memory.
The one that closed it.
That's true.
Listen, just tell the attorney, look, whatever we get, we split. Let's go. Come on, let's dance. You might get it. You might get 1,000. You might get some real money out of it. Who knows? I don't take that stuff laying down.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't take that stuff laying down. But go find an attorney that likes to fight. You know, like the Coach Martin stuff, you know, kind of guy.
CB Martin.
Yeah, how's he doing? You do anything with
He's
him?
He's doing good.
You do any of his deals?
Yeah. Well, I don't do his deals specifically because my area has a lower rent.
Yeah.
But I learned the techniques, like the property that I'm in right now. I took it over like that with his previous strategy. Now he does master leases and subleases.
I like those much better.
Yeah, it's more what's called. There's more distance between you and the.
You know what? If you're living in the house, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. So you're all right, no matter which way you go.
Yeah.
So if you're using the house, that's a great deal. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. So that was our conversation over the last week or two with regard to options. Yeah. So we had some other stuff we were chatting about, but I just thought I'd bring you up to speed, man. We haven't seen you in a while.
I know the Prairie was.
I miss you driving around in that Maybach, you know, and telling us what's going on. So
I'll take you to some neighborhoods next week, and you guys are gonna love it. Like I was I like the story about the baby, because usually when men have like a dog, it's like an eye candy to women, right? Yeah. Or when men have a baby, it's an eye candy to women. And make sure, when men have a girl and a little baby in the neighborhood, it's an eye candy. Oh, hey, nice baby, and then you just get to know everybody. But I was
gonna would be cool. You know, it'd be cool. Look how many young mothers are out there looking for a job. think about this for a second. So you hire them with the baby in the carriage on a nice day. So listen, I'll pay you for 5 hours, and I'll pay you $20 an hour just to walk around with me. So you spend $100 for the day, and you're walking through all these places, and you got this young girl with you, and you got the baby there, and you might have just caught on to something there.
Yeah. Hey, you might be charged with escorting or something. You gotta be careful.
Ace the snake is what it is. Ace the snake.
Yeah. See, what I did in my area, there's a lot of people that they kind of like stop at like Home Depot, people that want to get jobs. I hired a couple of them. With the same person for 2 days for $80 a day to do my door hangers.
Because they're usually talking about somebody to stand by your side, push the baby carriage, killing time. I think, like you just said, I think that's a good idea.
How would you put it on Craigslist though? Looking for a single mother.
I don't know if that's a Craigslist deal.
I know, like how would you put it on Facebook? They're gonna think you're what's it called? You're soliciting for
wanted heifer with new baby.
Oh, that's a straight way to get your account deleted. Trust me.
Oh boy.
But it's smart. It does work. It's like when you said about the cell phones. That does work as far as people do call you back.
Oh, have you done that cell phone thing?
I did not a cell phone. I didn't want to buy a cell phone. I had an iPad. I had a cheap iPad that I had it for a long time. So then I uploaded a video, and then they opened it and they only had like a video there, and they saw me talking to them. Hey, I know your property, and they never called me back, but they kept my iPad. But it was.
You can buy those throwaway, like they're not iPads. What do you call those things that come out of China?
The little video recorder stuff.
The smaller ones. You can buy those and put a video on it. They're not going to hold. They're not going to be a telephone. But if you wanted to just go out and mail those out to people or something like that, you could probably do the whole thing with the postage and all for about $3.
What I've been doing for the pre-foreclosures, I've gotten a lot of good responses with this one.
Yeah, man.
I'm not buying the property. I'm helping them how to stop the foreclosure.
Hold on. I'm gonna take a picture of that right now. Hold on. Let's see if this thing will work. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Skidoo. This is the best software on earth. I use this thing all the time. Snag it.
So definitely screenshot it. So I've gotten a lot of response, and they offer me, well, how much do you pay? How much do you charge for your service? Like, well, I don't really charge for my service to help. Because if you go to my website, it tells you how to navigate the foreclosure process when you're gonna get foreclosed. There's like
you know what I did with you. You had last time I was on your podcast there. You had something where you were talking about having a leg up on doing pre-foreclosures. And what if somebody went out and they got a website said pre-foreclosure relief services? Did you wind up getting one of those websites? Is that what that says?
If you look on top, it has my website there.
Because I got one of those websites. I haven't done anything with it yet. But I've got the report if they come in the door. Yeah, there you go. I can read it now.
Yeah, our
if they come in the doorway, if they come on one of our websites and they click in, they get the report emailed out to them automatically, and it just it keeps everything going. But I haven't done much with it.
Yeah, and the difference with this one, like it works because I've gotten more response. I still market in to them, like if I know there's gonna be foreclosure and I want to buy the house. And now I do also this one. This one gets mailed in an envelope just like that with their address, and I print the the notification where it's gonna get sold, and it gets mailed to them. And then after that, I text them, hey, did you receive my letter? I want to help you stop the foreclosure. And I've gotten a lot of good response on this one. They always ask me, well, what's your like? If you don't get paid for blocking it, how do you get paid? Well, if you can block it this 5 ways, then I want you to give me the 6th option to buy your property at a fair price. And I've gotten one deal like that, where usually the forbearance is one of them to block it. A loan modifications, it's another way to block it. Of course, making the payments all at once, it's another way to block it. Doing the bankruptcy, it's another way to block it. Doing the TRO, it's another way to block it. three of those require money: getting current, TRO, and bankruptcy. The first two are free: the forbearance and the loan modifications. So if they can't get to none to zero, they don't have money, and they're already exhausted their forbearance and the loan modifications, then I come in to buy it. And I bought one property already like that.
You're going to see a lot more like that. I
Yeah.
think.
I've been, and well,
As this, yeah.
Another strategy also in my area, I pulled all the loan modifications that got recorded already. So when people go to forbearance, they get out of forbearance, and then they do the streamline modifications, where all you do is just balance, interest rate, make sure the payment's reduced. Poof, approved. No income verification, no nothing. Just address verification. Well, those modifications get recorded, and sometimes they're screwed over. Like they borrowed $200K and their loan modification is like $260 because they didn't make payments for a long time. So I'm sending those people a text. Hey, I know you got loan modification approved. Congratulations. If anything comes up where you want to sell and maybe recapture some of the equity, or maybe the final payment that they gave you is too high, give me a call. I'll try to cash you out and get as much money in your pocket, and then of course we buy a property.
So on the phone, one of our gurus last week, and he was going around to houses. Now all of a sudden the foreclosure market's picking up out there. He's in Ohio. So I says, well, picking up like what? He goes, we got 4 customers that called me, like the houses are on fire, and they've got demand letters from law firms attached to the banks, and that they make one. This is your final demand. Da 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 da. They know they've been in foreclosure. It's final demand before they go to sale or something like that, or they go to final judgment.
Okay.
So now he goes, Steve, 4 of them in 1 week. I went, whoa. He goes, it's going to pick up, man. Now, he's in Ohio, and there's a lot of foreclosures out there in Ohio. The market's not as hot as it is around the country. But you look around the rest of the country, I mean, like on Long Island, I think there was something like over 7,000 foreclosures at one period last year. And the property values have gone up so high. Anybody that wanted out got just milked out, and they didn't have to worry about their foreclosure.
Yep.
They got bought out, and they walked away with money, you know?
Yep.
So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen with this market. You only got to.
One of the things also that I know, patterns repeat themselves.
Yeah.
People that are bad payers in mortgage that got saved through the forbearance, they're going to be eventually bad payers for mortgage again. So they're going to go bad, and they're going to get fixed, and then they're going to go back to it. So that's why I target them.
You could call it that, or just say this. You could say that renters are renters and buyers are buyers.
There you go.
There's certain people that are just renters should never be inside of a house as far as owning the damn thing is concerned. It's not a good idea. Oh, Vaughn, have a good night, man. Thanks for hanging in there.
Definitely. No, definitely good to catch up with you guys again. I'm
You
trying
still doing
to.
that thing on Friday afternoons, Friday mornings?
I started again this past Friday. I did one. I guess nobody showed up. I just kind of explained what I was doing, how I pushed my system to prove itself that I can run without me, and it worked. I got a couple of contracts closed, and I got 2 contracts signed, so which is good.
That's great. What happened to that one you had a few months ago, the VA, that you were happy with, and the company told you, oh, no, she's stealing from you. You got to get rid of her. You didn't want to get rid of her.
That one, I did get rid of her. I hired another guy. All right.
Yeah.
So the guy is great when he's on the phone, but he's spotty as shit when he does his schedule as far as to get him in there. Yeah. So I hired him. I got a couple of deals from him, and then he left. And then in the beginning of the year, I told him, like, what do you need to be full-time? Like, what do you need? He's like, well, I need $800 a month. And I told him, okay, you know what? I'll give you $700 a month full-time, but you're not going to work 40 hours. You're going to work 60 hours a week, but it's going to be a guaranteed salary. And he still didn't take it. So then he went away, and then he came back, and I hired, you know what? I'll hire you still at $3 an hour because you're good when you're on the phone, but you're spotty as shit. So I can't hire you at a higher rate because your consistency sucks. But again, the first couple of days, boom, I got a $15K deal, and I'll probably do another $20K deal from him because he's good on the phone, but when he's on the phone. So I'm paying him for the time that he's on the phone. He might work for 6 hours one day and then not work 2-3 days and then come back. But when he's on the phone, he's good. So that's why.
Who are you getting the VAs through?
that guy reached out to me.
Yeah.
That Han guy had worked for that company where that other VA, where that company went under when they were stealing from their servicers who they were hired to work for. He messaged me directly.
How long ago was that the company went out?
Probably like 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I think
Who
it was
was
like
the company? You remember?
Landmark. Was it Landmark?
I don't know.
Something with an L. Something with an L. Landmark
Yeah.
VAs or something like that.
I think these places all come and go. The big guy that's out there reinvented himself under another name.
Pretty much.
I gave him stupid money a few years ago. Never again. Remember that girl that was on there, and she was bringing people in out of the Philippines. I think she was Spanish. I think she might have been Mexican.
Yeah, I think that's the original lady that reached out to me, and then she got me with another. The VA that she got me was good, but again, I guess the lady that was doing the managing part was not a great manager.
So you haven't used her again since then?
No, since then, no. I've used this guy Enrique, which is good. I don't like man because again, women are more cordial and more smooth on the phone. But again, Enrique is real smooth. I'll patch one of the calls next time, so you guys can hear how he talks. And he's a quick learner, but he's not consistent. He's good when he's on the phone.
All right, I got to say something to you that's completely nothing to do with any of this. You see down in San Antonio how you got these big supermarkets and drugstores all closing up, these big giant buildings in certain areas. And some of them are really, really good spots that just like, they don't need them. They've already they've already built other big facilities around. So you got these big giant buildings, commercial buildings. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a call from my buddy Mitch down over there. And we're talking, him and I. He goes, boy, these buildings are all over. I wish I could do something. I said, well, why don't you turn them into something like a storage unit places? He goes, reconstruction, fitting up. Well, you know what they're doing? I see down over here in Florida. They're building men's do you want to call these things? The den, whatever you want to call them. Shit. It's the men's place. It's their club. It's the male den. You know what I mean? Like you hang up all your hunting stuff and you got your classic cars and all that. Okay. Man cave. That's what I'm trying to get at, right?
Okay.
So there's a place down here who took an old supermarket and cut it up into sections, and there's no basement in it. And they're subdividing the building up into condos. So they're selling them, right? As man caves and clubs, so to speak. You can have your own club, do whatever, right? And it's got a giant amount of parking outside, right?
Okay.
So they're even talking about putting other ancillary stores around the outside of it. All right, but let's just keep our eyes on the ball with this building. So he says they put in a hallway in between on the left and the right side, and there's unique bathrooms throughout the place so they can use it. And the buildings inside are like 16, 18 feet high. They're huge, right? So he says they started doing these condos, right? They sold them out in 2 weeks. Who's buying them? Ball players, big guys in the real estate business, politicians, right? And they're putting their classic cars in there. They put a bar in there. They have all their hunting, their bears and deers all hanging from the ceiling and the walls and all that. It's pretty nuts. And I was wondering if something like that might go off down there in Texas, But there for another conversation, I do suppose. So we've been on for a while here tonight. I think Rick is about had it. He's done listening to all us talk for the night. Can't hear you, brother.
I haven't seen in Texas as far as this area, but it's again not.
Somebody's talking and somebody's not. Must be Ace. You're in and out. You froze up. We lost him.
Yep.
Go out and come back in, Ace. Yeah, we lost Ace.
Yep.
We got you hanging onto a cell phone, with the Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, I'm gonna do my damnedest to stop by and see you on Friday. All right. I
Okay.
love what you do. I love what you do with this, man. You do a great job. He runs a great podcast. So
Yes.
yes. In the meantime, Ace, we're gonna say goodnight. I'll talk to you soon. You got my number. Call me. All right. Rick, you same. You got my number. Call me if
I do.
anything can help you guys out. And
Definitely.
we're going to be on next week. We're going to go on 2 hours earlier, 7 o'clock Eastern
Okay.
time. So 7
Okay.
o'clock Eastern by whatever you guys are. All right. So have a happy. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Take care,
Thank you.
boys.
I won't be able to be on 7 o'clock.
Well, then we'll
I will be
watch
on at
it.
8 because I
Yeah.
would probably watch the recording
Well, are
because
you
7 to
on?
8.
Are
I'm on
you
the
on
coaching
Central
call.
Time?
No, I'm on Eastern. But 7 to
Oh.
8, I'm on a coaching call with Ionati.
Oh, the hell with Ionati. Tell him forget it. Ionati comes on at 8 o'clock.
No,
Eight to nine.
it's with John.
I thought his was 8 to 9.
Yeah, that's a regular weekly call. But the
Oh,
coaching call.
excuse me. Whoa. Okay. When did you join up with him?
I remember last time when you were there, I didn't came, but they had offered the group coaching.
Right.
I joined that one.
Very good. How do you like it?
It's good. It's good. Actually, I did like 8 or 10 agreements signed and everything. Nothing came out of that. And then I had that issue with that unlicensed activity thing. So I completely stopped, and then COVID came. So
Did you change his contract around? You just use what he gives you?
actually, I did change when I signed up. I went to the attorney. We did everything, but it was just a thing, that the realtor did, and they never came out with anything because they asked me to become a realtor, and I said, "What if somebody in my company, the LLC, is a realtor?" And they said that's fine, and I already had that thing, so
Don't. Yeah, you'll use that. Don't hit that. His stuff's a business in a box. I wholeheartedly believe in it.
Yeah.
And I paid a lot more than you did.
Yeah. But you did with him, so
you
I'm
pushed
doing
the
with
hook all the way down my throat. I was
yeah.
it. I was it. So
yeah.
All right, man.
And
Good.
what about the Andy Speed? You were talking about the
If you want to invest in notes and do creative financing and that kind of thing, you can look him up on YouTube. And he's got a weekly call that's free that he does on, I think it's Saturday mornings or whatever. But look, Rick, you got to keep your eye on something, what you want to do. If you keep going off on all these different tangents to be this, all you're going to do is keep pushing the education down your throat. And you're going to be you're going to be so dazzled because there's so many different ways to do everything. Eddie Speed is he's probably the top guy in the country. For doing notes and buying notes at a discount and doing non-performing asset notes and doing structuring deals from scratch or subject to or whatever. He does it all. But how far into this do you really have to go to make a deal? How much you don't really need to spend $15,000 to go join his course. I don't think so. I love the guy. I did it years ago. It was very good for the type of business that I'm in. So I like finance. Don't hand me a hammer and a chisel and tell me to go fix a house. Forget it.
No, I don't want that either, to be very honest.
Yeah, I like watching the money make the money.
Right.
I like
money comes out of thin air. Money comes from thin air. Yeah, that's what I want to.
That's
what my goal is, and I want.
But you know what? If you can do more of these subject to deals,
get
it made. Just special. If you can get more and more of those in your pocket out in that area, don't change what you're doing.
Right.
You don't need it. You don't need anybody else. Just concentrate on that.
But then what kind of marketing should I be doing for those leads? Because this was just from somebody, I didn't market on that one.
All you can do is advertise to, you buy houses, this and that, same as everybody else. And you finally, but instead of that, but when they call you, you talk to them and you get a feel, let's say, bring me up to speed, where we at with this house. And because a lot of these people have tried to sell it and you
Yeah.
listen for the coin words. You ask the right questions. You
Okay.
know, the easiest question to ask, you know, instead of finding out, you know, now we don't really have a whole lot of people on it. Instead of asking somebody why are they selling their house, you know, I listened to Claude Diamond asked a different question. I see you've been living in this house for 10 years. Why would you want to sell such a pretty house like this? I mean, you got your feet established, your family's there and all that. You know, it's just, why would you want to sell it now after 10 years? And they'll tell you. All right.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing if you want to find out what a balance is on a mortgage. You know, it's a simple, I've never had anybody come back to me and tell me, what's it's the way you ask the question. I'm very interested in your house. If we go to closing, do you have any debts that are attached to the property that I've got to clear in order to get title? And they go, what? Nobody says what. So that means liens, mortgages, any encumbrance against the property, back taxes. Oh no, all I have is a mortgage. Well, give me an idea about what's due on that. Okay.
But then how you ask for the interest rate? Or you don't ask for it? It's just the balance.
Sometimes I ask for it, sometimes I don't.
Okay,
I
depending
don't
on.
really care what the rate is. I want to know what the payment is.
Okay.
So does your payment include taxes and insurance?
Okay.
Yeah, yes, no, whatever. Is there an adjustable? No, they'll tell you. And they might even tell you, without you even asking what the interest rate is. I really, if it wasn't a subprime loan deal, and you go back with them and they got the loan 3, 4, if they got the loan in the last 5 or 6 years, it's a low rate deal.
Right.
It's
True.
a sweetheart deal. And you're buying a house that should not be all wrecked and busted up and everything else. So you're buying nice houses. That's what I'm trying to get my hands around. But the markets that I'm in, Long Island, down here in Florida, these are hot markets, man.
Even here, I was surprised. It's hot here, like.
But you know, it's also in the price range of the homes that are there.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're under 200,000, you know, on a house that needs work, a lot of the brokers, the agents, don't even want to list those houses.
Yeah.
You know, around the country. You know, I'm looking at properties up in the Rust Belt. I'm looking at stuff way up in northern Alabama. And I'm saying, do I really want to get involved up here? These houses are 100 years old, 80 years old. I'm like, you know, I'm not into that stuff. I don't want to fix them. I don't want to rehab them. I just want to sell them and hold the mortgages.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that kind of thing. I like that. So you're in Tennessee, right?
Tennessee.
And your deals, you're doing stuff down in Georgia, I think you said.
Actually, I'm right at the border. So 3 miles south, I'm in Georgia.
Well, I'm driving back from down here in Florida. I'm leaving probably the week of 16, so around the 22nd or 23rd. I'm driving.
So you're gonna pass through 75?
I go up 95. What is that?
Yeah, 95. Yeah, 95 is all the way like you at the border, like towards the beach and the sea, you know, thing. Right. I'm in the middle. I pass through Atlanta and 75 Chattanooga. Then you take 81 north.
Well, if I go up through if I go to Alabama on the way back, which I might do. All right.
Okay.
I'll go up that way, and then I will be going through Chattanooga and the rest of them coming back.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe I'll look you up.
Definitely. Yeah. We'll go for lunch together or something. Yeah, let me know.
There you go.
So you're coming next week, you said?
No. It's not till the end of the month. My daughter has having her. I'm going to be a grandfather. So.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So the baby shower is the last Sunday of the month.
Okay.
And my wife and my son are flying back home next week, I believe. Next week. And I'm gonna drive back. I got her car down there. I'm gonna drive that back to New York the following week. So I'll probably go up through Alabama. I like that ride anyway. It's it's a nice ride.
Yeah, I used to live in Birmingham.
Did you?
I lived 2 years in Hoover.
Well, Hoover's a nice area. Hoover's got some expensive houses in it.
Yeah.
I've only got 3 or 4 properties up there, and I financed all 4 of them. Okay. So I got but they're not in Hoover. I wish they were.
Yeah.
So, All right, brother. Keep smiling,
All
man.
right. Thank you,
I'll
sir.
talk. If we can't get on next week, whatever, you know how to reach us.
Yes,
Take
I will.
care.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Keep the money coming in the door. Have a happy.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Bye bye.